The distress signal echoed across the stars, broken, panicked, and unmistakably real. Please, anyone, help us. The Alaric Confederation, a peaceful alliance of scholars and diplomats, was under siege. Their cities burned, their defenses crumbled. And the enemy, a savage insectoid race known as the Karnax brood, wasn't conquering, it was devouring. The galaxy heard the call, and chose silence. No one wanted to face monsters that turned bones into fuel and children into bait, but one world responded. Not with diplomats, not with words. Earth answered, and what it sent wasn't hope or mercy. It sent Deathworlders, humans forged in one of the most violent ecosystems in the galaxy. Creatures of instinct, strategy, and fury. The kind of soldiers you don't deploy unless you want everything on the ground to stop breathing. What followed wasn't a rescue, it was a reckoning. The stars of the Selenar system blinked against the blackness of deep space, undisturbed for centuries. Trade vessels had long since ceased traveling this far. The planets here were known more for their tranquil scholars than their military might. That's why the first signs of the invasion were so shocking. An armada of grotesque vessels, bioships, of the Karnax brood, broke through the planetary defense grids of Alaric III in mere minutes. The Confederation had relied on diplomacy, cultural superiority, and treaties for so long that when the enemy refused to negotiate, they had no real defense left. The Alaric were not a warrior race. With delicate features, tall forms, and voices that resonated with music rather than threats, they had spent millennia on art, science, and philosophy. But none of that mattered to the Karnax. The invaders didn't come for resources. They came to feed. The initial planetary defense transmissions were polite, almost ceremonial. You have violated sovereign space. Please respond to diplomatic queries. Then came panic. Unidentified hostiles in orbit, civilian casualties, defense lines broken. And finally, the scream. SOS, this is the Alaric Confederation. We are under attack. They are feeding children. Please, anyone, help us. Across the galactic relay network, the message repeated endlessly. Most governments received it. None responded. Even advanced civilizations like the Thalun or the Virexi Imperium issued statements of strategic neutrality. Everyone knew the Karnax brood, bioengineered during the last galactic war. They had survived by cannibalizing their creators and spreading like a plague across unguarded regions. The galaxy feared them, yes, but no one wanted to fight them. Except Earth. Earth had no official seat on the Grand Galactic Council. It wasn't because they lacked the technology or economic influence. It was because no one trusted a species that came from a Class 12 death world. Earth was an outlier, an ecosystem so lethal it produced creatures, including humans, capable of surviving extremes most species couldn't even comprehend. Tectonic instability, atmospheric variability, microbial arms races, and apex predators in every biome. Evolution on Earth was war, and humans were its best weapons. When Earth received the SOS, it didn't hesitate. The transmission reached Earth's orbital defense net at Station Hecate 7. Within 6 minutes, it had been verified and flagged as Type 4, hostile sovereign, event involving non-combatant casualties. Normally, a case like this would require deliberation. But in the AI-monitored matrix that governed Earth's emergency response protocols, there was a specific clause. If biological extinction of civilians is imminent and aggressors are non-diplomatic, launch Deathworld intervention units. Earth didn't send a diplomatic envoy. It sent the 17th Terran Expeditionary Force, also known as the Black Talons. Their lead ship, the Raven 9, left Mars orbit in less than 12 hours, flanked by 2 Titan-class carriers and 5 stealth destroyers. Their mission: extraction of survivors, neutralization of all Karnax assets. Arrival: when the Black Talons arrived in the Selenar system, they didn't issue a warning. Their ships were black, angular, and coated in adaptive armor that made them nearly invisible to long-range scans. They broke through the debris field of Alaric III's shattered satellites and launched a Hellbreach pod straight into the most infested zone of the capital city. The pod impacted with the force of a meteor. When it cracked open, 2 humans emerged. Captain Mira Velasquez and Sergeant Deke Rowe. Both wore Mark IV exorigs, powered armor designed for urban warfare and high-speed combat. The Karnaks were waiting, 8-legged, 6-eyed creatures bristling with chitin and venom glands. Each stood over 8 feet tall, with scythes for arms and mandibles capable of crushing bone. The humans didn't blink. Mira opened fire with a railgun that liquefied the first wave. Deke, grinning, charged with a plasma axe, laughing as he severed limbs and ignited alien ichor. They didn't just fight, they hunted. It was brutal, efficient, and completely one-sided. The science of Deathworlders, the Alaric watched in awe from their bunkers. They had always seen humans as primitive aggressors, not because Earth lacked sophistication, but because its people were known to solve problems in ways that others found excessive. Where the Virexi would build consensus and the Thaloon would negotiate compromises, humans believed in stopping threats permanently. This wasn't out of cruelty. Earth's evolution demanded it. Their own planet had taught them. If you don't eliminate the predator, you become its meal. Earth-trained soldiers had higher pain thresholds, faster neuromuscular reflexes, and, most critically, a psychological capacity for violence that most species couldn't even process. The term Deathworlder wasn't an insult, it was a warning. Urban extraction. Within 36 hours, the Black Talons had cleared 40% of the capital. They didn't use mass orbital bombardments, avoiding further harm to civilians. Instead, they used localized EMPs, flame corridors, and psychological warfare. One infamous tactic: broadcasting predator distress calls from Earth, lions, wolves, and a low-frequency infrasound used by crocodiles. The Karnaks, being predatory themselves, panicked at the alien sounds and broke formation. This allowed death squads, small mobile units of 3 humans each, to surgically cut them down. By the 3rd day, Karnak's forces began retreating. They had never known defeat. Now they were running. The final encounter, the Karnak's warlord, designated Karjex, attempted to bargain. A delegation was allowed to approach under flag of truce protocols. Karjex, towering and armored in bioexoskeleton, addressed Captain Velasquez directly. "You are efficient killers," it hissed. "But you cannot win. Our spawn ships arrive in 6 cycles. You will drown." Mira removed her helmet. Her face was calm, cold. "We're not here to win, Karjex. We're here to end you." A signal flared. From low orbit, Earth's stealth dreadnought Banshee 1 decloaked and fired its gravlance. A beam of compressed space-time tore through the upper atmosphere, slicing Karjex's spawn ships mid-warp. The sky lit with fire. Velasquez turned back to the stunned alien. "There's no reinforcements coming, just us," and pulled the trigger. Aftermath. By day 4, the planet was clear. The Karnak's infestation had been eradicated. Not contained, not negotiated with. Eradicated. The Alaric Confederation was safe. For the first time in their history, they offered military honors. The humans refused. Instead, the captain left behind a single message. "You called for help," Earth answered. "Next time, call sooner." Then they boarded their ships and disappeared. No colonization, no resource claim, no political leverage, just action. The Galaxy Reacts footage of the operation leaked. Though classified, Alaric whistleblowers spread it across neutral networks. Entire species reevaluated their assessment of humans. Many feared them, some admired them. A few wanted to ban them from entering sovereign space again, but deep down everyone understood something chilling. Earth hadn't shown its full strength. Just 1 battalion. What if the whole of Earth mobilized? What if they didn't wait to be called? The frontier. Screams, the mining colony of Delta Varnus 7 was never meant to be important. A small, windswept outpost on the outer rim of the VAO sector, it held no grand cities, no cultural marvels. Just tunnels, dust, and the people tough, enough to dig through both. Most of its inhabitants weren't soldiers, scientists, or politicians. They were laborers, refugees, and outcasts from safer sectors, people who had nowhere else to go. When the night sky cracked open above them, they knew death had arrived. Delta Varna 7's orbital sensors registered hundreds of unknown contacts. Fast. Silent. Not Karnaks, but something worse. Silicate swarm forms. Ancient AI-driven constructs from the dead zones beyond the helix verge. They hadn't been seen in over 3 galactic cycles, thought extinct or dormant. They weren't. The swarm forms didn't communicate, they didn't broadcast demands. They simply landed and began tearing through the colony like locusts with diamond blades. Structures collapsed in seconds. Entire habitats were vaporized. Their weapons were heatless, noiseless, pure efficiency, born of machine logic. The colony's governor, a half-cyborg named Eris Talon, sent the distress call. His voice, usually gravel-rough, trembled. Unknown machine threat. Shields failing. Casualties over 70%. This is not a drill. If Earth is listening, please send your Deathworlders. He didn't expect a reply. The black signal Earth heard. Within hours, a dark packet, encrypted, AI-signed and irreversible, pinged across the quantum lanes to Terran Command. It included threat specs, location data, and estimated time to extinction. 23 hours. The packet triggered Protocol Vanta 9, Rapid Death World Response, Artificial Threat Class, I-Earth. Earth.